What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Sean, and today at Reactions to the Classics, we're going to tee up a group that I'm not familiar with.
Me neither.
It's going to be the Thermals, and we're doing a full album reaction to their record, The Body, the Blood, and the Machine. And I want to shout out our longtime friend and patron of the channel who suggested this for us to do today, Michaela. Michaela, always appreciate you, and it is also your birthday month as we film this.
Great month to have a birthday, right?
That's right, man, that's right. So shout out to you, Michaela. Be sure to show her some love in the comments for bringing this one to us today. But all that to say, Dad, we got a little bit of history and write about the band. And before we get in it, I'll also tell what Michaela said about the record before we just kind of get going into this track by track.
Exactly. So the Thermals were an American indie rock band based in Portland, Oregon. The group was formed in 2002 with heavy influences rooted in both lo-fi as well as standard rock. The band's songs were also known for their political and religious imagery, which we're going to get into on this album. They were formed in 2002. Former bandmates Hutch Harris and Kathy Foster came together to form the Thermals, having previously worked together most notably in the folk duo Hutch and Kathy.
Keep it simple on the name.
Keep it simple, man. Their first album, More Parts Per Million, was released in 2003 by the very famous Sub Pop Records. It was recorded and performed entirely by Hutch, who played every instrument, so I don't know how that was really a Hutch and Kathy. But the first live lineup was Harris with Kathy Foster on bass, Jordan Hudson also of M. Ward on drums, and Ben Barnett on guitar. Their follow-up album, 2004's, I'll keep it PG here, F&A, was mixed by Death Cab for Cutie member Chris Walla. During that period, Ben Barnett left the band and Hutch Harris took over the role as guitarist. So Trey, that brings us to the quick facts of this actual album.
Yeah, so third record, released in 2006, yet again by Sub Pop in August, and was produced by the great Fugazi's Brendan Canty, recorded at Supernatural Sound in Oregon. According to the band's official website, quote, the album tells the story of a young couple who must flee a United States governed by fascist faux Christians. They're both recovering Catholics, which is why there's so much religious allegory in the lyrics. Concept work set in an apocalyptic near future that puts power, oil, and a Christian God above everything else. Every track helps tell the story of a fascist regime intent on establishing new borders, demonizing those who don't fit the mold or fall in line, and sending those who do off to war.
It appeared on multiple top album lists for 2006, such as NPR, the AV Club, and Pitchfork. Jordan Hudson dropped out of the band during the recording of this album, so Kathy took over percussion duties in the studios, and those ratings were Pitchfork 8.5 out of 10, NME 8 out of 10, and Metacritic 84 out of 100.
Yeah, and Michaela just noted about this that the instrumentation is fantastic, especially considering, as we just noted, their drummer left and it was just two of them covering all the instruments, and the lyrics and vocal delivery are powerful, all while still being catchy. The fact that the band is from Portland, Oregon, my home state, adds an extra layer. The songs stand alone, but as an album it really flows together and takes on extra meaning. Well, thank you for that write-up there, Michaela, and it seems we're going to be in for some deep thinking here.
Yeah, and I actually found an article that Hutch Harris himself wrote, so I thought it was interesting. He just gave a few facts. I want to do that too before we get into the album. The album's pretty short, and there wasn't a lot of info once we get into the album on research-wise. But Hutch said the LP was performed by only two people. I played guitar, Kathy played drums, and we split bass duties. Most days in the studio it was just the two of us, with Brendan Canty, who produced, which you already talked about. All the guitar overdubs are recorded with a distorted acoustic guitar. This is a trick Kathy had used in some of her solo recordings, and we also heard of Kim Deal doing this in the Breeders. It made for a very thick, fuzzy tone that we loved. And he also said, we mostly use tiny battery-powered amps. It's something I do when I'm recording at home as well. A tiny battery-powered Marshall can often sound a lot bigger and crazier than a Marshall stack. Brenda told us Fugazi often did this on their own records. All songs written and arranged by Hutch and Kathy. And I will say, we talked about it at the start. This is going to go, I've read, the lyrics and read a lot of the song info. This is going to go at Catholicism and in a bigger tent, Christian people in a big way. Like I said, these two were both Catholics, Hutch and Kathy. And, I'm not going to get into all of that and what Catholicism does to you, but Trey and I are both Christians, so if some song offends me, I'm going to say it, but I get it. I get what they're coming from, but I'm always going to keep it real. And actually, what they described there, where it's run by neo-fascists who are self-claimed Christians. Sounds very similar to an experience that was being set up where we live, Trey, in the United States, and not too long ago. Not too long ago. So I could see how this could go. Those people aren't really Christians, by the way. They just think that they are, or they're severely misguided. All right, Trey, into my soapbox, but it had to be said. Let's jump into it.
I like it. We're going to kick it off with Here's Your Future. Harris says it's his favorite song off what he and fans agree is the band's best album. Quote, it goes so many different places and it changes a lot for such a short song. Kathy and I didn't demo a ton for the record. A lot of what's going on that record just kind of came out while we were in the studio with Brendan. A lot of great stuff we came up with on the spot. So on that, when we mixed, we were kind of surprised and pleased at what had happened. And Here's Your Future was definitely a song like that. As always, man, we're going to have the lyrics pulled up for all of these. Follow along. 10 songs, 35 minutes, pretty succinct. And if this gets blocked for copyright, there's going to be a link down below, man, so you can check that full thing out. You know how YouTube can be, a little misguided at points. But
exactly.
All that to say, man, thanks again to Michaela.
Thank you, Michaela.
Let's dive into this. Get that church organ almost starting to
God reached his hand down from the sky. He blooded the lamb and he set it afire. He said, fear me again. No, I'm your father. Remember that no one can breathe underwater. So bend your knees and bow your heads. Save your babies. Here's your future.
Yeah. Bit of a pop punk type of vibe. All right, kicking things off with Here's Your Future, just starting off musically, man, definitely can feel a bit of that fugazi, punky type of influence on that instrumentation, a little bit of feedback in there, a bit of that kind of intimate production, I think, quality as well, going along with Hutch's vocals there, and kind of fits that fire. We're starting off here, Dad. First off, that those fiery feelings that I imagine that Kathy and Hutch were feeling are kind of coming out in here.
Right, exactly. And I'll start out with the instrumentation too. Really enjoy it. Love the sound. Very catchy. Lyrics incredibly misguided. Sorry, guys. I just got to say it's a very adolescent look at the Bible, going back to Genesis and viewing that's how things are, and
in the context of the Old Testament too, that gets lost.
It gets way lost. God asked Noah if he wanted to die. He said, "No, oh no, sir. Oh no, sir. Here's your future. It's going to rain." Talking about Noah's Ark, and God told his son, "So it's Jesus. It's time to come home. I promise you won't have to die alone. I need you to pay for the sins I create." The son said, "I will, but Dad, I'm afraid." Very dangerous lyrics to write. But I understand they're coming out of a situation that they were very jaded on, and they just become totally anti. religion. And remember, religion is something that's created by man. The Bible was from God. So I just want to point that out. But I like the way the song sounds. I don't like what the song says.
No, man, I got a lot of the, I think you put that well, Dad. A lot of the thoughts. I think we're setting up to, possibly a bit of that apocalyptic imagery.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of guessing where we're going to go through with the record, with the whole, kind of what we said at the start with the fascist Christian,
exactly,
fake Christian regime here going. So the future here it is kind of raining down, so to speak, getting some, maybe some the type of theme too of doing something that you don't want to, going through that suffering. We'll see how those themes kind of play out as we go to the next track here, man, which based on the title, I'm gonna maybe keep the intensity up. We got I Might Need You to Kill. It's said to be about indoctrination. The song's target is the religious right, which has had a dismayingly powerful influence on elections.
You know that right, Trey, and I am not a fan. I am a Christian. I am not a fan of the religious right in any way, shape, or form.
Locusts, tornadoes, crosses, and Nazi halos. They follow. Lashes and grins, ass backwards medicines. They follow. They know I might need you to lead and part the sea so we can cross. If they follow us still, I might need you to kill. Every room and every human at will. They'll drown your disease. They'll pound you with the love of Jesus. They follow. They follow. They'll own your days. They're only God's babies. They follow. They know I might need you to hack and cover the tracks so we can hide. If they side us still, I might need you to kill. They can tell me what to read. They can tell me what to eat. They can beat me and send me the bill. But they tell me what to bill. Hey, I might need you to kill.
Yet again, really digging the guitar work here.
Yeah.
I think it works quite well with Hutch's voice.
I might need you to kill.
All right, I Might Need You to Kill, and you hear that, already something we touched on when man gets away, I think, in the purity of what I believe God actually is about. You get into these twisted up nature where you use that and the Word of God to get your own power, and I think that's what I'm taking.
Yeah,
from
me
this
too.
track.
Basically, God told me to, so how can you question it? Here's what I need you to do. If you watched the last song there and thought, man, this old guy's going to have an issue with all the lyrics, here we go. I have no issue with these lyrics, dead on, especially after we just lived through this recently of just, people on the religious right and who use God's word in a wrong and incorrect way, and then people who aren't Christians look at it and go, oh, that's what all Christians are. No, that's what no Christians are. These people are severely misguided, and that's what you get here. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the way it sounded sonically and instrumentally.
No, man. Yet again, it just that guitar work that is a bit a bit crunchy at points, and I think that works well with Hutch's delivery. He's very calm whenever he's delivering it, yet still you can tell that these are very heartfelt lyrics to him.
Right.
The passion's kind of coming forth and through, and yet again kind of throws you back to that 90s alt rock or punky type of a production, I guess you could say. So another nice tune right there, man. And now we're gonna go to An Ear for Baby.
Yeah, full of Nazi allusions. The song's "Work is freedom" line, paraphrasing the "Work sets you free" inscription at concentration camps. As disturbing as its imagery is, Harris explains that he was stopping to think of the children. The idea that I had when I was writing it is that someone thought to be taking care of the children in the midst of all this apocalyptic chaos.
Pull out your dead roots, pull out your bed suit. It's time to inspect the subject. Lose your intentions, lose your common sense. It's time to groom you for judgment. Stick to a numb stare, strip to your underwear. It's time for you to be cleansed. Keep your eyes straight, for Christ's sake. Remember we're your friends. Good luck getting over the fence. Good luck putting even the dead in. The mission, the plan. Just breathe, you don't need to understand. Can you hear me? The siren's on. Let the water run. Leave the lights on. And if for baby, if you need it, can you hear me? I'll repeat it. Draw the bridges, dig the ditches deep. We're gonna need a new border. Get thyself in line. It's time for reassignment. Time for a new first world order. We got a job to do. We don't ask, we tell you. Work is freedom. Sloth is sin. So pull out your dead roots. Pull out your best suit. You know the one they're gonna bury you in. Good luck getting God on the phone. Good luck getting even in the zone. You can trust me. It's not a test. And I won't leave you in this mess. Any questions? You in the back, can you hear me? The siren's on. Let the water run. Leave the lights on. And if for baby, if you need it, can you hear me? I'll repeat it. Good luck getting over the fence. Good luck putting even a dead in. The mission, the dream, the body, the blood, the machine.
The title.
Yeah.
Coming through,
Can
man.
you hear me? The siren's on. Let the water run. Leave the lights on. And if for baby, if you need it, can you hear me? I'll repeat it.
All right, An Ear for Baby. What you think of this one, Dad?
I liked that. I thought the guitar work was fantastic. They definitely have some allusions to concentration camps.
Yep.
Good luck getting over the fence. Good luck even putting even a dent in the mission, the plan. Just breathe. You don't need to understand. Yeah, just a nicely written song, and yeah, it does get the title of the album.
No, yeah, that's right. Bringing it in yet again. You have these very intense lyrics of bringing up that kind of dark imagery here, and yet I'll go and say that chorus was yet again a bit anthemic.
Yes, it was.
In nature. The guitar soaring up. So that's an interesting contrast that we've already seen in these first few songs here. And I'm just kind of speculating here in the concept of the record, if you will, if now that the government trying to get more and more of their control, just viewing their people as a means to an end.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
Governments don't do that now.
No, that line, we got a job to do. We don't ask, we tell you.
Yep.
Work is freedom. Yeah, yet again, bringing up that World War II brutal imagery right there. So a good tune in that, and we're going to keep our biblical allusions going with A Pillar of Salt.
Yeah, Watt Inspired introduces the couple will follow for the rest of the album.
Okay.
The one that's, per the Thermal's own description, fleeing a fascist regime. They don't want to have to deny their dirty bodies, so they stick to the ground on their way to Canada, the ever popular destination for dissidents. So this is it's right there with the first track being the most streamed song. So I imagine this had a little bit of airplay, a little bit of popularity somewhere.
All right. I like the way we're starting here.
Special, sir. We know everybody is. We built too many walls. Yeah, we built too many walls. And now we gotta run. A giant fist is out to crush us.
Loving how up-tempo this one is, man. I can see this being a good concert jam.
Yeah.
We run in the dark. We run in the dark. We don't carry dead weight long. We send them along to heaven. I carry my baby. I carry my baby. Her eyes can barely see. Her mouth can barely breathe. I can see she's afraid. She can see the danger. And we don't want to die or apologize for our dirty God, our dirty bodies. Now I stick to the ground. I stick to the ground. I won't look twice for the dead walls. I don't want to wipe a pillar of salt. I carry my baby. I carry my baby. Her eyes can barely see. Her mouth can barely breathe. I can see she's afraid. That's why we're escaping. So we won't have to die. We won't have to deny our dirty God, our dirty bodies.
All right, A Pillar of Salt, bringing it, probably the most up-tempo track here, Dad.
My favorite one so far.
Mine too, man. I could see this being a great live tune, and yet again, sonically, kind of throwing me back to my my high school years, which were a little bit past when this was out. But me and my buddies listening to a lot of that pop punk type of music,
right.
Where but lyrics usually of those songs weren't as deep as what we've had up to this point, man. For those that don't know, the biblical story of Lot and his wife. Sodom and Gomorrah was about to face judgment. Lot going away, God told him, don't look back, and his family. Lot's wife looked back, and then you get the pillar of salt. Yet again, that allusions to the lines of the walls, kind of building of the state.
Yep, and they're trying to escape. He's got his baby, and they're trying to get out. They're trying to get over that wall because they got to get out of here before this thing gets worse. But I have a feeling, Trey, that it's going to get worse.
No, I'm curious how we're going to continue to go with this as we go up to returning to the fold here. Interesting to know too, man. A lot of these very compact songs, 2.5, 3 minutes, and this is no different. Like a 70s kind of nice classic rock chord. All right, returning to the fold, I think keeps the good tunes coming forth.
Definitely.
Another one that might be amongst my favorites
Yeah,
at the end. I think that I'll curious your thoughts. You think they're continuing to kind of as they're running away now? The thoughts and the weight of this is I think maybe hitting them a bit.
I think it is too, and I think it's interesting. It's almost like they haven't totally shunned.
Yeah, I found that interesting.
It's like
too.
I get away from it. Like maybe when you get away from a repressive man-made religion, and you realize, maybe the pureness is true in the Bible, just not all this other man-made garbage that's been put on me. So I thought that was kind of the very last lines kind of made me, but if I still have faith, if I ever had faith, wait for me, wait for me. But yeah, great song. You mentioned at the start, almost like a 70s guitar at the start, this nice repeating riff. Just very catchy, man. I definitely enjoyed it.
Well, yeah, and I like the songwriting technique that Hutch employed here with starting the verse with "I regret." So first he says, "I regret leaving my soul. I forgot I needed it to feel." Then he says, "I regret leaving my mind. I forgot I needed it to think." He notes, "I still have eyes. Wait for me, wait for me." That refrain is kind of there in his vocal delivery, almost yearning and longing out. And then he says, "I regret leaving it all. I forgot I needed God." And he notes, "And maybe when I die, I won't die escaping. I'll die returning to the fold." Reminds me of the parable Jesus told about the 100 sheep or the one lost sheep. Kind of coming back to the fold, and so great. Yet again, some nice allusions in here, and just I think ideas in general. As we're already halfway through the record.
We're halfway through. One thing I haven't mentioned yet: the drumming on here is actually fantastic, especially considering they didn't have a proper drummer.
No, I'm glad you did that, Dad. Shout out to Kat. We haven't mentioned her much, but it adds to that lo-fi nature that I think you need.
Gotta have it
for a record that
punches it up. Man.
Yeah, this intimate. So now we're up to test pattern here.
We are, along with the next song, St. Rosa and the Swallows. It offers respite to the listener and the album's travelers. These rests were thoughtfully constructed, Harris says. We didn't want the record to be all cold, political, and dark and scary. Kathy said, quote, we need a couple love songs. So there are a few on the record to kind of ground the record in just basic human emotions and love while still keeping the very religious Catholic theme. So this one ought to be interesting.
Speaking of that Kathy drum.
Yes.
Kind of what we were talking about at the start, manipulated a bit. Unique sound.
Almost has a Latin feel.
No, you're right, man. Pretty cool.
I believe you can see me forever by your side. And I believe if you leave, I would cry. Why do I feel so crazy now? Why am I losing my mind? 'Cause I believe you could see me forever by your side. Still you can call this a test pattern, so you don't have to commit. So you can change any day.
All right, test pattern, man. Enjoyable tune that's, as we were saying at the start, a bit in left field up to this point in the record as we kind of get those those relational dynamics in.
Yeah, I don't really have a lot to say about it, really. I mean, I think...
Pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. We enjoyed the guitar part. I think that was my favorite. I'm digging his vocals so much in this type of presentation. I think he does better when they're more amped up and he's got to go a little quicker. So really wasn't feeling that, but also the first time I've heard him like this. But yeah, I mean, it's a fine song.
No, man, yeah, I think that that acoustic guitar kind of manipulated, like we were saying in the quick facts at the start. You could see that on display there, and again, kind of that refrain. I believe I could believe you. Kind of sings in that nasally type of register.
Yeah.
So that might be some of it as well. But that idea I could leave, and if you notice, then you would understand, and he calls it a test pattern. You get those feelings of commitment up there. What's gonna go down, and and in the future here as the world's kind of crumbling around us. So we're gonna kind of keep that theme up with Saint Rosa and the Swallows.
Passing the corners we kissed in the rain. Passing these old rusted warning signs. What did they say? I think they said run. Passing the roofs of excuses we made. Passing these open windows. What made me turn away? How did I fight the black days and the static nights? Saint Rosa, she flies with the swallows. Saint Rosa, I feel I could follow back to Capistrano, and I will hold you tight through the cold days and the frozen nights.
That feedback and distortion ramped up.
Passing our friends, passing the means we used to tell the difference between. It's subtle. I try to remember if I was ever lonely, if I was ever low. Hell yes, I was low. How did I fight the black days and the static nights? Saint Rosa, she flies with the swallows. Saint Rosa, I feel I could follow back to Capistrano. I will hold you tight through the cold days and the frozen nights. Passing all the days I switched to auto mode. Days for which I've nothing to show. Pausing all the days I'm afraid I'll forget. The days only clear for a second. Woo! The days only clear for a second. Days only clear for a second. But I will hold you tight through the cold days and the frozen nights. Yeah, when it's cold, cold, cold.
All right, Saint Rosa and the Swallows. I like this one more than the previous one. Trey, it had one of my favorite verses on the writing. Passing all the days I switched to auto mode. Days for which I have nothing to show. Because, life moves quickly.
Yeah.
And eventually, days pass by, months and years. It really does the older you get.
And you go on that autopilot, so to
autopilot.
speak.
Just got to get this done, and every day becomes a to-do list, right? You don't stop to really take in the day. I'm pausing on the days I'm afraid I'll forget. So those days that stand out from that whole auto mode, the day's only clear for a second. The day's only clear for a second, but I'll hold you tight through the cold days and the frozen nights. So no matter what we're going through, I'm still going to be here with you. But I just thought those were great lines, especially for a guy like me who's getting older. So I enjoyed that.
No, man, I think that's a great point right there, Dad. And I also like the line, if I was ever lonely, if I was ever low, hell yes, I was low. How did I fight the flat days and the static
I like that one
nights?
as well. I thought that was a really good one as well.
Yet again, showing that, I think, that power of love love whenever you got somebody in there in the trenches with you, so
Definitely.
to speak, in this wild thing that we call life.
And great guitar work.
No,
as
yeah,
well.
yet again, man, I know we keep harping on it, but the guitar work on this whole record, man, I think it complements Harris's vocals just perfectly. So we are already down to our final 3 tracks, man. We're gonna go now to Back to the Sea, and interesting as I see the runtime here, kind of our 3 longest tunes are at the end.
So I'm guessing we're going to jump back into the narrative. I couldn't
That's
find
what
any
I'm
research
thinking,
on
yeah.
these next two, so let's check it out.
Interesting, starting with the feedback just
Yeah.
in your face.
As I'm reading the lyrics, it's going to fit the content.
my favorite guitar work yet on the record, man.
I'm gonna crawl
All right, Back to the Sea, bringing it, man. Maybe my favorite guitar work on the record up to this point, man. That distortion and feedback, that just hit you over the head at the start.
Yeah, it was the most shoegaze influence by far. Yeah, I thought the guitar work was fantastic. An interesting song that stands out for the fact that all the other songs that we've come up to at this point that were dealing with the theme were very fast-paced.
Yeah, that's a great
Very,
point.
very
yeah.
quick to get through. This song was 1:07 in before he ever got into the lyrics. He gave a very slow delivery in what the instrumentation brings. So really a total difference. It's probably smart the way they sequence it with those two quote love songs in between.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, but I thought it was a really good song.
And
Enjoyed it.
I wonder too, with that the guitar ramping up, the longer instrumental, if that kind of apocalyptic, if we're kind of gearing up to that with only 2 songs left. Obviously the 2x2 illusions going back to Noah's Ark here,
Yes.
but then we kind of go back to some of that fascist Nazi symbolism with we'll lead them to the gas chamber. So again, this I think this government regime leading the people 2x2 to their death, I think you could say. And I like that line, and all I need to evolve is to believe. So we got this guy saying, I'm gonna crawl back to the sea, gonna fight, I think maybe to the end.
Right, yeah,
possibly.
that's exactly the way I took it.
But only 2 songs left, man, and now we're gonna ramp up to the longest tune on the record. Power Doesn't Run on Nothing. Kathy's drums coming back, which weren't that prominent in the last.
Yeah.
We are just a child, we are just a child, we are wide awake, but our legs are shaky. We're unaware, we're hyper as we stare into space with grins on our faces. So give us what we're asking for, 'cause either way we're gonna take it. Our power doesn't run on nothing, we need the land you're standing on, so let's go. Move it. We are old as hell, we are old and tell the children when to kill, when to sit still. Everyone doing
All right, true to its name, powerful tune, and power doesn't run on nothing. And you'll be able to speak to this more than I did. But this is the first one where I really could see the convergence in the time it was made, 2006, with not only the story and the concept that we have in this record in particular, but also U.S. politics, of course,
100%.
at the time, with just obviously conjuring up they mentioned the fuel and
the oil, man,
and how our power doesn't run on nothing; it runs on blood, and blood is easy to obtain when you have no shame. And as we sit here in 2021, and just the absolute catastrophe that it's been as U.S. troops have pulled out of Afghanistan here, and the Taliban's just gone back and run over it. It's just it's an interesting to kind of read it through that lens, I think.
Yeah, and the first part of that verse is too, they'll give us what we're asking for because God is with us, and our God's the richest. Our power doesn't run on nothing. That's where it gets in. It runs on blood because obviously George W. Bush, well, not obviously because you may not know this, but he said, he believed he went to war with Iraq and Afghanistan, that it was a holy war, so to speak.
That's right.
Not Christianity against Islam, but that, he was told by God to go over there and, basically we just took their oil. That was the main thing. There was other things it was disguised as, but I'm just going to tell you that. It was about oil, as was the first Gulf conflict back in 1991, as is a lot of the conflicts. And that's exactly what they're like. We're going to ask you for it, and then if you don't give it to us, we're going to take it anyway.
But, Bush is an artist now, so he's cool, right?
Right, yeah, exactly. And I will say one other observation on this song. I think, I'm just guessing here, guys, that Sub Pop got this record and went, hey, guys, this is 10 songs, 30 minutes. We got to add on as well because there's a 2+ minute outro,
You're right,
which really isn't on anything else. A lot of groups do this, but they haven't done it. But I think it works on this song. But to me, it kind of just felt like, well, we're just going to add this on. But it was a good song, good song.
Get the distortion going and whatnot. Yeah, and I think that those are the themes that's running through my mind on that first listen, and we're gonna see how this record concludes, man, with "I Hold the Sound," and based on the quote that the band kind of talked about, it's not gonna end on a cheery note. There's no hope left and little comfort. They envision the end of humanity, which they looked back on poignantly and wryly throughout the song. A cataclysmic event is followed by another one, symbolized by a long stretch of screeching guitar. That's the way the world ends, with a bang, a whimper, and a ton of distortion.
Kind of picks up from the last song with the guitar.
No, you're right, man. It's an easy transition there.
The light out, we don't talk. The light out, we sleep now. The door locked, we don't talk. We sleep now. I hold you, I hold the sound. We sleep now. It's safe now. We can move. The world is over. The world is over. It's early still. The sun is cold. The world is over. The world is over. I hold you. I hold the sound. I hold the sound. I hold the sound. We walk now, we can breathe. The earth is flat, the sky is round. It's early still, the moon is cold. We walk now, we walk alone. I hold you, I hold the sound. I hold the sound.
It's a more prominent bass
I hold the
work.
sound.
That up today. Kathy's beat just kind of keeping that propulsive, cataclysmic rhythm.
I hold the sound. Hey. The light out, sleep now.
Comes that distortion is building.
Oh yeah, you can feel something's brewing underneath here, man. You feel that intensity, man. The end of the world is here, ladies and gentlemen. Hold the sound, that distortion fading us out to end off the record here, man. I think that I thought Kathy, one of her best drumming performances, man, kept that propulsive kind of intensity there. Bass work a bit more prominent than anywhere else on the record, and then of course it all comes to an end. You know, it was interesting. I was expecting maybe you know, due to what we read at the start, that maybe Harris would have been a bit more intense on the vocals, but he was very, you know, kind of clear, calm, and collected.
I was just say it's almost an acceptance, man. The light out, we don't talk, we sleep now. The door locked, we don't talk, we sleep now. I hold you, I hold the sound, we sleep now. It's safe now. We can move. The world is over. So all this stuff we've been battling, at least there's going to be relief from it. So now it all is going to kind of come down to, what do they believe now that it's all over?
No, you're right, man. I think that's very well said. That there's just that. Man, there's nothing we can do to stop this, and it's all coming down. And then, of course, that final minute and a half ramps up that distortion, and really, I think, kind of puts you in that intensity and in that final cataclysmic moment, if you will, man. So a good way to end this record off, I feel, and that'll take us now, Dad, to our overall thoughts and favorite tracks on this record, man. For me, my favorites are gonna be a Pillar of Salt and Returning to the Fold. I thought those were
my
those were very upbeat, just catchy. You wanted to just go and sing them out, and I think did well in the concept of the record as well.
I did too. Yeah, those are my two favorites, and I thought it did. I thought I Hold the Sound did a good job of kind of tying the whole album
bookending
together,
it up,
bookending the concept. So I don't know if it's one of my favorites, but I will say it was arranged well and put in there well. But yeah, I got the same two favorites.
And I'll throw Back to the Sea in there just for how great the guitar manipulation was. I thought that was quite well done, and even Power Doesn't Run on Nothing for the political nature.
That's true. Yeah,
I appreciated that, and that'll take us now to our overall score of the record. You want me to cue it up? You want to cue it up?
I'll cue it up. Right. It's fine. I think on this one, for me, there's some things that work for me. There's some things that don't. Now, it's crazy the way we started this. If someone turned it off after the first song, they'd be thinking I was going to hate all the lyrics. It's the only one I didn't like the lyrics. I got it on everything else. I think I give them praise for trying to tackle a concept album like this. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have put the two, quote, love songs in here.
Did you think that took a little bit of the punch away?
I did, because I think you either got to go all in or be out. I get why they put them in there. I think they might have put them in there one because they didn't have two more songs that kind of fit with the tone, which I get, and also to ease up the little intensity of it. But those didn't exactly work for me, but I still think the album is really well done. The guitar work is fantastic. The drumming low key good, and a little bit of bass work in there.
Yeah,
that is good as well. So for me on first listen, I'm gonna be like a 6.75, a 7. It's a good album, not a great album, but it is a good album.
No, man, I think too a very easy listen at 10 tracks. 35 minutes here. I don't think any of these songs drug on.
No, not at all.
At all. I think that
so nice to have that because a lot of times we don't get that.
No, you're right. I think that production value as well, was well done in that kind of alt punky type of sphere while still keeping those pop sensibilities in the chorus and whatnot. So
sure.
I liked it maybe a little bit more than you. I'm going a 7.5. I think it was a good record, man, and kind of can see some influence, whether intentional or not, on guys like Jeff Rosenstock or bands like Joyce Maynor, Modern Baseball that came up, in the 2010s that I was listening to back in the day. So a very easy to listen to record, man. So I shout out Michaela for bringing this, and I always respect artists who go with like a concept as well, and kind of go with those threads throughout a whole record.
For sure,
a little bit more fun to break down than the I love you and she loves me.
Yeah,
type
no, I agree with you. And shout out again to Michaela. Happy birthday month to you if it's already passed, and if you'd like to support us in any way, like Michaela does as a patron, check out the link below or click on the link in the end screen that is about to hit.
Well, thank you all. We, of course, want to know your thoughts on this record and any other thermal stuff to check out. Be sure to let us know in the comments below, man. And until next time, thanks for watching, happy listening, and we will see you.